Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Factorio Tutorials. I am your host, Alex, and this is FCOD Gaming. As you can see, our iron situation has become kind of desperate, which is why I'm not really researching anything, because every time I do, this happens. Yeah, I'm down to 4 miners on our science production line, which simply is not catching up. And I'm actually completely out of iron for the logistics network, but fortunately, I have plenty of iron in reserve, so that should be able to go for quite a while. But the science research is definitely lacking. So I have done a little bit of prep for this episode, but the point of the episode is I'm going to be making a one-train railroad. Excuse me here for a second. One-train railroad from north of the base here all the way up to this iron deposit up here. And you can see I've already kind of laid the groundwork as far as miners and stuff like that for that. So that shouldn't be an issue. So let's get back to the main game screen. Now, a one-train railroad is actually very simple to set up. Basically, all you need is a loop on each end, and a station on each end, and you basically send the train back and forth between the stations. But I do understand where it can be a little bit intimidating for somebody that's never set it up before, which is why I'm doing this tutorial. Oops. A couple tracks where they're not supposed to be here. So basically these yellow arrows are showing you that the track that you're about to lay down is connected and what it's connected to. That comes in handy when you're doing a little bit more complex situations, but for right now, it basically just means that everything is lined up. And like I said, I'm going to do a little bit of a loop here. And these little bumpers on the end mean that they're not hooked up. You actually need a little bit of a straight piece in between those. Not sure why it's set up that way, but it is. And we'll just bring this back to the main track here. And there's our loop. So what's going to happen is our train's going to come in down here. It's going to stop and unload. And then it's going to loop back up, and we'll only need one track in between the two stations instead of 2 tracks set up with like a one-way type situation. So I'm going to actually lay the train down here, and we'll have 2 cars on it. Throw a little bit of fuel in there just to kind of get it rolling, just so that I can kind of space out everything. Looks like Jordan Salins is going to be our main station there. So basically we need a spot to unload all of the iron ore that we're going to be getting, and we're also going to need something to fuel this up. Usually I look at what I have as far as coal and solid fuel, and whatever I have the most of, that's usually what I end up using for my train fuel, which it looks like, at least at the moment, I have more solid fuel than anything else. So I'm going to go ahead and set up a provider chest off of the solid fuel line, and I'm going to limit that to 5 stacks, and we're going to go ahead and just start filling that up like so. And we'll come back up here, Mostly just because I don't want to run a whole spaghetti belt system. And this will actually probably keep from having to produce hundreds of solid fuel that ultimately isn't going to be used. So I am going to need another rope port up here. Let's go ahead and get that set up somewhere where it makes sense. Let's go right there. We'll go ahead and request let's go 2 stacks of solid fuel. And I think I'm actually, yeah, I think I was, well, no, I wasn't. Never mind. So let's go 2 stacks of that. And we'll set up an inserter for that. I'll go ahead and get power brought up here as well. And there we go. That'll start fueling up our train. And we will also need, let's go ahead and make a few steel chests here. So basically what I'm going to do now is I'm going to set up a buffer so that the train can unload everything very quickly and then go on its way, so that it's not just waiting around for the belt to empty out. It's actually going to unload everything into these chests, and then it will go on its way. So I do have a little bit of iron ore. Let's go ahead and just test that out. And it goes ahead and pulls that out. That's perfect. And same with those. So. And then we will run a little bit of a belt here. Not sure exactly where I want this to go yet. Probably somewhere in there. But yeah, we'll just have that to kind of show roughly where it's going to go. We'll get all that set up. Okay. Oops. We'll make a few more steel chests for when we get up there. But yeah, let's go ahead and start up our train. And we can actually run on the train while we're making our way up there. If I can see, because it is nighttime. Alright, and I'm laying track everywhere. This might not be the best way to do this. So why don't I'm just going to run along and do it. Screw it. Still placing track everywhere. There we go. That looks a little bit better. And there's a tree or two. Oh my goodness. Okay. And we ran out of track, so let's go back. This is one of the more tedious things that you will do in Factorio, but once it's set up, it's actually really nice. Just because you can kind of set it up and it'll automatically do its thing and you don't have to worry about it. So That's always a good thing. So we'll go down here. And I've actually got some rails set up in our factory. So I'll go ahead and grab all of those. Do 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 do. Running back to the train. Gonna try it again. Okay. So this time we will actually ride the train out there, which will make things a little bit easier. So let's stop it there and get out. Just lay the rest by hand, hopefully. Put a curve there. Watch to put a 90-degree angle here. We'll make our train stop somewhere in here. So let's go back to the train and have it actually pull up to the station. That's actually a little bit higher than what I wanted, but it'll work. So we're going to kind of set up the same situation here as what we had before. Hopefully those will all go into the train. Okay. Let's double check that these on the end are actually going to work. They do. Okay. And we'll go ahead and put these inserters here. Now there's a couple different ways that you can actually get the iron from the miners to the your loading station. For this way, I'm just going to run a belt straight up there and hopefully everything kind of catches up. Otherwise, you can set up a series of splitters and kind of make it even throughout all the belts. But we'll kind of see how far this makes it along the line. We might have to upgrade it to a red belt. Yeah, it looks like that's going to have to be the case. So we'll go ahead and make this all red belt. And there we go. It's getting all the way down there, so that's good enough for me. But yeah, maybe. Let's put a red splitter there as well. See how it likes that. Yeah, because as you can see, not all the ore, well, the ore really isn't making it to that first car at all. So let's go ahead and put a faster splitter in there, see what that does. There we go, that seems to help. So basically, this once these boxes kind of start getting filled up, it'll make the loading process a lot faster because of the stack bonus on the inserters. But yeah, each one of these trains holds, what is it, 20 stacks of whatever you put into it, which with ore, that equates out to 1,000 units of ore, which is fine. So we'll just go ahead and I'll let this run for a little bit. Alright, so the back train car is full. Go ahead and just wait for the front car to be full. Meanwhile, I can finish off this loop. Okay, there we go. And we'll do, come on, one of these. One of these. Connect those up. Connect this up, and we'll just go straight down here. It's something like so. And this is almost filled. Good enough for our first run here. Let's go ahead and go back to our home base. Alright, so it's going to stop at this station and it's going to unload everything in these trains. As you can see, it gets it out to the belt right away. Let's go ahead and put this so it's using both sides of the belt. And I'm actually going to take the time right now to route the belt inside of our base and kind of get it where it needs to go. So we'll go ahead and run this all the way down. Oops. And I need a couple more undergrounds. Something like that. We'll need one more to get down there. Something like that. And I'll actually go ahead and run that right into the splitter until these are actually depleted. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that off. And we might make that a fast corner. So why am we're going to want to make these red belts here. That should even help things kind of even out. Gotta wait for all that to get down here. Now obviously you can use red belts for this, but yeah, I just really didn't feel like spending the resources on it, so that was my main thing. And as you can see, now that it's kind of caught up, we've got plenty of ore to go around here. And actually what I'm probably going to end up doing is splitting this off, running it down to where we have our smelting operation for the automation system. or for the logistics system, and we'll kind of help that out as well. Actually, why don't I do that right now? Go ahead and oopsie. We'll need a few more undergrounds. So that. Over here. Definitely not the cleanest setup I've ever done, but it'll work. 2 more of these. And we'll just go ahead and switch the direction of the belt all the way over. Actually, don't need it. Down there. Alright, so hopefully what's going to happen is this will feed our science factory, and then it will end up feeding our logistics factory with the leftover. Now what I might go ahead and do off screen, since we're not delivering quite as much ore as I'd like, I might actually upgrade this entire thing to red belts. Just kind of make sure that everything's getting delivered where it needs to be. And we're actually almost out of ore for that for this delivery. So let's go ahead and do one complete run here. Usually it only takes about 20 seconds to unload and maybe about 45 seconds to load. So let's go ahead and see what the entire circle looks like. So basically we leave the station, we go up to the iron mine here. I forget the name of the station. But it'll go up and basically take all of the ore that it needs out of these boxes, which are slowly filling up. We'll just kind of let it go on the timer and see how close that gets us to 1,000. Alright, so we have 1,000 there, we have 1,000 there. It actually looks like it's a little bit too long. That's fine. Any second now it should be going. Let's bring that down to 40 seconds. But alright, so it's done there. It'll actually go back to our home base here and unload everything that it just loaded up. So it's going down quite quickly. And hopefully it unloads everything before the 20 seconds are up. Nope, not quite. So looks like eventually I'm going to have to research stat bonuses. But in the meantime, I can just increase the time that it waits at the station. And you can kind of go back and forth here and tweak your times a little bit if you are so inclined. I usually do, especially when I have more than one train at a station that's coming in and taking up time. That way there's less waiting time on the entire system overall. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it. I know this episode ran a little bit longer than I intended it to, but if you have any questions regarding single train systems, go ahead and leave a comment down below. I'll be happy to help you out. And as always, take care of yourselves out there, and thanks for watching. Oh, wow. I might need help.
Alright.
There's like... Oh god, I'm out of ammo. Oh, that's
I'm
not good.
coming. Can you head to me? Oh god, I'm running as fast as I can.
I think I got them.
Alright.
They're all small biters, but there were like
a lot of them.
20 of them. Yeah.
Damn. Do you have armor?
No.